Hey, my name is Gaia Athena, and today I'm bringing you my October 2018 reading summary. As you can see in this graph, I read 17 books in October. This is the lowest amount of books I've read this year so far. I can partially explain this though, in that I went on holiday in October. The week before I went on holiday, I didn't read much on purpose, and while I was on holiday, I did read books, but the days that I was traveling, I didn't. After I got back from my holiday, there was about a week or so left in October, but I had a lot to do, and I didn't read much then either. Pages-wise, I read 3,628 pages in October. This is also the lowest amount of pages that I've read this year per month. As you can see in this pie chart, I indeed read the least amount of books in October, even half of the amount of books that I read in April, which was my highest reading month in terms of amount of books. And also pages wise, in this pie chart, October was definitely the least, but it's not too far behind January and February and June. If we look at the amount of books I read per month in terms of age ranges, then in October I read mostly books for adults. This is a trend that has been happening the past few months, as you can see. Like in August, September and October, I've read the mostly adult books with some young adult and some children's books and such mixed in. But the portion of the other age ranges versus adult is shrinking. I can't say I've really noticed that in my reading. I feel I still really like reading books for young adults and children, but I definitely feel like I've read a lot less children's books recently, and I still feel like I've read quite a bit of young adult, even if, well, the statistics don't show it. October was kind of weird in that most of the books I've read in that one manga sort of readathon that I did for a couple of days, and I finished off lots of series then, if you've seen that video, and then most of those, I think maybe all of those, were adult, and then the rest of the month I read a handful of other books. In terms of rereads versus new reads, in October I reread one book and the rest of the books were new reads, which is kind of a trend that has been happening for most of the year. To be honest, I seem mostly to read new reads, and every once in a while I reread a book. In terms of genres, in October I read 1 fantasy book, 4 science fiction books, 8 contemporary fiction books, no rom-com, no historical fiction, no literature, 1 detective, no thrillers, 1 horror, 1 paranormal, and 2 biographies. I read no information books and no Disney books. This is a nice spread of genres for me. Contemporary fiction is highest, but it's also what I seem to be into the last, I'm not sure, 2 years or so. So yeah, I'm okay with this for now. Now for the amount of books read per genre per month. October is on the very right, as you can see. If I compare October to some of the previous months this year, then contemporary fiction is definitely something that I have been reading a lot of. But it's also interesting that I've actually read less biographies in October than in, let's say, September, August, July, June and May. The shortest books I read this month were Snapshot by Brandon Sanderson, 129 pages, and Chobits Volume 8 by Clamp, 134 pages. As for the longest books I've read this month, those were Princess Jellyfish Volume 8 by Akiko Higashimura, 332 pages, and Something New by Lucy Nisley, 292 pages. This month I have actually mostly read books that were on the shorter side. So, as you can see, like between 129 pages and 332 pages. So I read mostly short books this month, and I can explain that because I had that manga readathon and those were all shorter. And then for my holiday, I felt more in the mood to read short books, and I specifically also picked some short books so that I knew that I could finish them in a reasonable time, sort of thing, rather than spending like the whole holiday reading the same book. It was just what I felt in the mood for, I guess. I had a lot of favourite books this month. The first one is Something New by Lucy Nisley. Then we have Princess Jellyfish Volume 8 and Princess Jellyfish Volume 9 by Akiko Higashimura. I really enjoyed the conclusion to this series. Then we have Bunny Drop Volumes 2, 3 and 4 by Yumi Yunita. And I also really enjoyed these volumes. Then we have The Odds of Loving Grover Cleveland by Rebecca Crane. Other than one issue that I had with this book, I really enjoyed the rest of it. And lastly we have Go by Kazuki Kaneshiro, which I also really liked. Well, this is a rather dull page, isn't it? My least favourite of the months were none. Usually I have at least one, sometimes two reads that are a little bit disappointing, but this month I can honestly say that all of the books I read were enjoyable or very enjoyable. So that's good. That concludes my October 2018 reading summary. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!